Hello and welcome to Korea Overlander, everybody, to a special nighttime edition of what you may ask. Stay tuned and find out. Hello and welcome back, everybody. If you have not already, please don't forget to hit that sub button and the ding for further Korea Overlander notifications. That's right, coming your way from the big old South Korea. So, what is going on here? Because this obviously looks a little different from the office that I would normally record my videos in. But tonight, I'm actually camping outside in my backyard. That is not something that is particularly common here in South Korea, but we actually own a place that has a little adjacent patio area. And, well, I was actually going to be out here with my kids, and funny story, background. So I had to go run an errand for about 10 minutes, and we had spent the whole day in eWorld here in Daegu, and we had a great time. Lovely, had a fantastic time. And then when I came home, both my kids were absolutely zonked right out. So they're upstairs, they're sleeping. I'm down here doing a little recording as well. Now, it is presently 10:43 p.m. on a Saturday evening. And it is right now, let's see, what is the temperature? It is 12 degrees here in the city. And, well, I am very comfortable because back here, right there, is my hot stove. And it is slowly broiling, baking, crackling some wood in there and keeping this interior extremely warm. It's not overly warm, but it is definitely comfortable. Now you're also going to see that there is some wind out tonight, so if I get some flappy with the tent, please don't worry about it. So what I thought I would do tonight is actually kind of go over what a setup for a hot tent might look like. Of course, there are different variations because tents are different. And so how you have your tent is obviously going to, or the shape of your tent and everything is obviously going to determine how you set it all up. But the tent that I have is an A-frame. And I was extremely fortunate to get this one. I went to a place that I'd been to before to go check out camping stores because that's what I like to do. And it was closing, and I was so disappointed. And I wanted to help the guy out because I do know him, not too personally, but we've had talk back and forth. So he showed me what he had left over in his store, and I said, it's too bad you didn't have a hot tent because that's what I came here to look for today. And he goes, oh, a hot tent? I said, yeah. He's like, well, I've got one. And I was like, no, I couldn't believe it. And turns out he had this tent, which was a floor model. It was a display model that he had in his store. And he said, yeah, give me $100 for it. I'm like, done. Here's the cash. What else you got on sale? So a big shout out to Travelers Camping here in the city. I'm sorry to see you go. You were a good store for sure, and did enjoy it. So that's the tent. Now, in terms of the stove, which is back here, this is the Ggubus stove that it's Lagren. Ggubus Lagren. They're a company here in Daegu, and I happened to actually go and see their facility, and it's pretty darn cool. There's a lot of stuff in there, It is a warehouse, but they do some gear testing and such of their products in-house, which is really unique. And I am going to be going there with my camera to do some recording in that facility soon. So stay tuned for that, because that should be a really, really interesting video. So yeah, so that's so this is the hot stove. Now this one here I did pay for, like the tent. I got it for, you know, it's my own tent. The stove I paid for myself. Although I will say I will leave a link to the opening of that, to the unboxing of that product. Leave it somewhere up here. But I did get a discount on that. Okay, so I do want to, you know, be upfront with the gear that I have with me presently. Okay, so the setup that I have here right now, the stove with everything I have in my house, will probably run about 700,000 won. So that would be about $600 US. 650 Canadian, something around that, something around there. And so it is expensive. It is expensive, especially in Korea. The products are more expensive. However, I will say that this is a phenomenal stove. I did play around with it a little bit and put too much firewood in and got the fire really going inside, which created a whole mess of problems. And I literally had to spray out the fire because it was creating too many problems. So today I just started really, really small and kind of developed the fire a little bit bigger so as to not create too much of a problem with that. So it's doing phenomenal right now, and I'm really, really pleased with it. So I also wanted to finally show you the winter bag that I have as well. Now, I was able to get a very old Army surplus bag from an app that you can download on your phone here in Korea called Dangun, or in English, Carrot. Now, Dangun Market or Carrot Market is basically a market where people sell things to other people via the app. So if there's something you want to buy, you see it, you can send them a message, set up a time to go and pick up that item, transfer money to them via cash or bank transfer, and the product is yours. So I got this about, trying to remember now. I think I got it in like November or December of last year. And I paid $80 for this, 80,000 won, so about $70 US, 75 Canadian. And I used this all winter, actually, inside the house. The wind's starting up now. But I used this inside the house just to kind of cover me. I just unzipped it and spread it out, and I was really, really comfortable warm inside. So I am hoping that this tent is absolutely going to do the job. Now, what I've also done, of course, and I'm going to be doing B-roll over all top of this, so don't worry about it, but I've also added for tonight, just as an extra little bit of protection for myself, is a little down bag that I bought at Gorilla Camping. That's here in Daegu up near Paugongsan. If any of you are in the area and want to know about these shops, then please send me a message, drop me a link down below, and I will tell you where you can pick that up. So I'm adding that into the Army bag just as an additional shell, just because I want to, make sure that I'm appropriately warm for tonight, because it is going to go down to about 5 degrees Celsius, which isn't cold, but it's enough, especially for me, that I don't want to get chilled. So I want to make sure that I'm staying toasty warm, and hopefully that stove will maintain a little bit of heat for a while for me, for sure. Okay, so what else have I got here? Well, I do have a a foldable mattress down on the ground with I had 3 down here because I had the kids here were going to be here, but I rolled one up and it's right here. So that's the roll. That's the 3rd one. And I just opted to fold 2 of the air mattresses like this and put them on top of each other. So I have a double padding there as well. And these are thermal pads. So they will provide extra, what's it called? It's the R rating, right? The extra radiance rating. And basically what that is, it allows your body to maintain the temperature and not have your heat conducted away from you and soak into the ground. Because if it's cold, the cold wants to take the heat, and you're hot, and whoop, there goes your heat, and now you're cold too. So that's something that you want to be paying attention to. If you want to have, if you're a cold person, generally, even in the summertime, having a higher R rating pad will help that a little bit. And having the proper bag also will help you kind of stay a little bit warmer. And I know that because my wife is a cold-bodied person. She's just always cold. It could be 30 degrees and she'd still be chilly. And I think that's more for thyroid medical issue, perhaps, maybe. But, you know, we want to make sure that she's comfortable as well. And that's why this is part of our, part of the family kit that we have now. But certainly for me, going out and doing these things, yeah, absolutely super important. So I am Canadian, but I do like to stay warm, and being warm at night is just so much better. Now you do know, of course, you see that I am wearing a t-shirt right now. That's because the heat coming from this is quite warm and I'm quite comfortable in here. I do, however, as you can see, have a hat on. Hats are quite helpful when you're outside. It does help insulate you, and it does keep in about 10 to 20% of your body heat. So it used to be, you know, that old adage, you wear a hat, you keep 40% of your body heat in. It's actually not quite true. It's actually probably between 10 and 20 depending on the individual, but having the hat on, definitely helpful. Even in the summertime or springtime, summertime, when it is warm, it can drop down unexpectedly, and having that hat on can keep you warmer throughout the evening. So always have one of these with you. Always keep a toque with you. You can never go wrong with that. And if you don't use it, then not a big deal, right? Okay, so I've got the bag, I've got the liner, I've got the air mattress. What else is going on? Well, let's take a walk over to the stove. Okay, so this is the Ggubus Lagren, Lagren, and I'll put a link down in the description below for you so you can take a look at it and tell him Ben said hi. This stove, as I said before, is a little bit expensive. It cost me about $700,000, but I did get a discount on that, so it's actually going to be less than the price. But that's what I'm telling you. You know, with everything that I got, that's how much it is. And I was very happy that they were able to give me a little bit of a discount on that. So thank you. Shout out to Ggubus here in Daegu. Now, how I have this set up, how this works actually is really interesting for thermal dynamics. And I am sitting about 6 inches from one of the sides of the fire, and I have almost no heat coming off of that whatsoever because of the construction. It's double walled. So the interior wall takes up all of the heat. There's a little radiator right here, and that's where some of the heat comes out, but it's not that bad. And also underneath the, I can put my hand under there, and it's very mild temperatures. It's not really that bad at all. Now, where does the heat emanate from? Well, obviously it's going to come up from the top here, and it's going to radiate off of the steel. And I also have heat here where the glass is, and there's also heat coming off of the glass. Whoops, I gotta move that wood there. Sorry, had to maneuver some wood. It was kind of getting a little warm. Hot to the touch, but not hot enough, I think, to ignite. So I'm not worried about that. But the wood is there. The glass is on this other side here. And again, I'll do B-roll and such. And there's a pile of wood there to basically keep the heat from getting too direct onto the tent wall itself. Obviously, we don't want to have a fire, so any kind of precaution that I have inside the tent, I will absolutely take. So having that wood kind of blocking the heat is helpful, and the heat actually travels up and along the side and along the open space up here, and it's very comfortable. Like it's, obviously if I touch it, I'm going to burn myself, but it's the way it's set up here, it seems to be quite good. Now you can put wood underneath the stove, which I have done. This wood is cool to the touch, as opposed to the wood on that side, which is hot to the touch. And I mean, it's hot to the touch. So that really just goes to show how much heat is actually coming off of this with the glass side. And if you have that too close to your tent, it could create some problems for you. So you do want to be careful about how you kind of organize your space and how you want to set it up. Now, originally I had this set up for myself and my two kids, so we were going to be lengthways in the A-frame, and so this is us here, and the stove is perpendicular to us. Now, we did that just for room's sake, but I think if I was here doing this alone, I would actually have myself set up here and the stove parallel to me, so the heat would actually come this way out into the tent rather than just up toward the back of the tent. I think that would be a change that I would make. I would make if I'm doing this. If I'm doing this as a solo. Unfortunately, I couldn't really change too much around because it was already 10:30 when I came in here and started recording. So I couldn't really change too much of the way that everything was set up, but it works. It's sufficed. Now, this fire here has been going for about 45 minutes. I want to say it's been going for about 45 minutes, and it's a slow burn. And it's a slow burn. You might not be able to see that here. It's a slow burn because I closed the vents on the front, which is a really important thing to do to maintain. You do have oxygen going in and feeding the fire, but if you have too much oxygen, the wood burns too fast. You have a really red hot stove really instantly, and that's a dangerous situation. So you don't want to get into that. You want to maintain an even heat for as long as possible. So I'll just show you kind of what I'm using. I'm using pieces about this big, maybe a little bit longer, maybe twice the size, which fits nicely into the fire. And the fire is actually at the glass front. It's not in the back. I started up here, I should say. And as the fire kind of travels down the wood in the stove, by the time it gets here, the front has kind of gone out. So you add 1 or 2 more pieces inside, and you'll be able to maintain a much longer fire. So it's going well so far. I know that this is not going to survive the night. There's no way that it's going to. But it's certainly keeping me comfortable at this point, for sure. So, yeah, what else do you want to see? Put a link or a comment, not a link, a comment rather, down below, and tell me what else you're interested in actually, in what I have as my setup. Put it, yeah, go ahead, you want to. Put that down there, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. All right. Well, it's just after 11 o'clock. It's 10 after 11, and I'm not tired. I'm really enjoying myself, but I kind of want to read for a while. So I think that's what I'm going to do. And have a great night, everybody. Live life well. Peace.